Hello everyone. Let's look at semantic cached search. Semantic cached search, going to use Quadrant for the back end. Code is obviously in Python because that's what this channel's about. So this is an example from Quadrant. Quadrant make vector databases. I've used their example. Their example was in, what was it? Colab. So a quick TLDR. We're going to use their example. I've refactored it. But more importantly, I've swapped out the embedding model. Now, this is something you probably come across. This is one of the first things which really struck home to me was so many tutorials use, a lot of the Quadrant ones actually use ADA 02, which is an old OpenAI model for doing embeddings. So you don't want to be doing that because it's using tokens, especially for testing and development work. You don't really want to be doing all that. So I've swapped it out, and Quadrant actually give you fast embed, which is really good. You can do that with Python, and it works with Rust as well. We're going to use, or they've used, Llama Factory / PubMed QA as the data set. There's a reason for this. It's because it is available from Hugging Face as a data set, so it's already been sort of cleaned up and everything. And when we actually perform the query, let me demo that because until I demo it, you're not really going to see what's going on. So we got this. I've created this with, I was going to say Astral, with UV. I know UV seems to be splitting a lot of, it's quite, people either love it or hate it. I use it for convenience, but I don't really have a horse in this race, so happy to. So UV run main.e back. So let me just bring it up in terminal because it's going to look nicer, isn't it? Oh yeah, I need to start Quadrant as well. So Quadrant is a database, and obviously when you're doing database type stuff, you need to actually, I've got a shortcut set up in my ZSHRC. If you're using Bash, then it's your Bash RC. If you're on Unix, Linux, I'm sure there's a way to start it in Windows as well. So this is the Quadrant vector database. Again, it's a vector database. Quadrant is kind of a creator of vector databases, but you wouldn't specifically have to use Quadrant one. But I think they're really good. So pay your money, take your choice. Right. So I want to do uv run main.py, and you'll see what this whole project is about. First time I run it, it's going to go off to, you see, this is the first time. So it's going to go off to Hugging Face, and it's going to pull down the stuff it needs to do the embeddings. We're using ONNX, so we're not using PyTorch or anything. It's going to pull down the model, which does the embedding. It's going to do the embeddings, so it's going to take some input data, which is the PubMed medical data. It's going to embed it, so it's going to, I think, yeah, it's going to take each bit of data, chunk it, and it's going to put it into, assign it 384 different dimensions, which will then allow us to do a semantic search on it. And first time we run it, it might take, I think it's about 0.8 seconds. Second time, and any times we perform a query which is semantically similar, that's a key point. So if two people ask a question that would get the same answer, then you don't want to be retrieving that same answer twice. So here we go. The first time, and you can see the first time it asks the question, question gets this answer about. So the response is the same. And the reason this is so clever is because it's taking 0.793 seconds first time. The second time it's 0.05 seconds. That's a massive improvement in speed of the response. Because if you've say you had 100 responses or 100 bits of data in your database, and two people asked a question which actually was going to require the same answer, which was coming from the record number 73 in your database. If you've already returned record 73 to your first question, why not cache it, and then you can quickly send it to it's a response to the second question. Let's visualize this a bit more, and then I'll show you we'll just look at the code and have a talk about it. So this is RAG. So RAG is kind of making a bit of a comeback, and last year it was RAG, then it turned into what was it? Functions, MCP, agent to agent, and now RAG's kind of making a bit of so we've built a collection in the Quadrant database. So the Python code took the data or the example data set from Hugging Face. It used the embedding model to put it into foo. You can see we've got the original document, we've got the vectors, which is not really anything a human, but you can open the graph. And you can see what are the next. It's almost like what's the next nearest thing answers to our first answer. But this is kind of simplifying it because it's all in kind of, well, it's one dimension or two dimensions because it's on your screen. But obviously the embeddings are 384 or 768. So it's got a lot of it's a lot of documents with answers. So depending on what your question is, if two people ask a similar question, you can return basically the very same answer, both of them, if it's best you've got. So if the best answer just happens to be the best answer for two questions, even if the two questions aren't identical, if the two questions both need the same answer, that's when this kicks in. And I think that's I don't know what that error was, but this is a visualization of all of the vectors. So again, it's just kind of for humans. It's not really anything that the code needs. So that's Quadrant, that's the database. Let's look at the code. So I've used UV, which uses pyproject.toml instead of requirements.txt and the like. So we're using numpy, pandas, .env, datasets. I'm using .env because I think it needs my Hugging Face API. You need to have a free API key from Hugging Face to get the dataset. Datasets, Quadrant client, and fast embed. Fast embed is what then, you see this here on line 21? Fast embed is then what allows me to alter this line, because in the Quadrant one, they were using ADA002, which does, it's not expensive, but it uses some paid tokens. Whereas all of this, you could just run on a laptop, on your laptop with no internet connection, and on an aeroplane, for instance. So, the Llama Factory PubMed QA. We split the data set into training, and then we train it on some of the data, and then obviously you can make your predictions. You got that's a class called config. We've got DataLoader. So this is all split up from the Quadrant Colab example. Class here, DataLoader, utility class for loading, pre-processing the data set. So we're loading the data set, we're converting it to a pandas data frame, we're taking, and then we're doing, we're populating the database. And with that, we are using database. And then we've got, we're initializing, or we've got the init, which, read the comments. I'm not going to go. So really, I haven't spent weeks or days typing all this in. This is pretty much me plus think it was Claude. Refactor in the quadrant notebook example. But the key thing out of all of this is semantic search. If you use a cache, you can make it much, much faster. And the embeddings, you don't have to use a paid large language model. You can just use fast embed. So try the cache first. If the closest answer doesn't exist in the cache, so we're checking on the score. So with semantic search, you'll always be trying to get the response with the highest score, because the highest score means it's the highest scoring, the closest relevance to the search or to the question that was asked. Query database if not in cache. And we're just doing some print stuff just to show how this is using the cache and how it's quicker. The embedding, so fast embed, import text embedding. You can get, I think, what else does it offer us? Image embedding, there you go. So this is all taken from the Quadrant website. I've reformatted it, I've refactored it, I've turned it into Python code rather than a Colab notebook. I've changed the embedding model. I've given you a quick look at Quadrant vector database. And here we go, this is the cache. What you need to do is you need to convert your data into some points, which is what the embedding model does. You also need to embed your original data, because when you've done a find based on the closest points, which you can either do with like cosine or Euclidean closest match, which is the distance between all of those dots. Once you've got that, then you need to reference from your embedding to the original payload, because it's the original payload you want to return. The human isn't interested in 384 what look like 384 arbitrary numbers. So if you've got any questions, or if you want this code, I can make it available. But really, this was a demo of using Quadrant, and it's a demo of how, once you're using a cache, 0.0. So is that 10 times quicker, over 10 times quicker, isn't it? You're going from 5 to 79. So 5 to 80. Is that 16 times quicker? Approximately 16 times quicker when you're using the cache. And you're returning the same response, because the question you were asked deserves the same response. And you've only got a finite number of responses in your vector database, because this is not generative. It's retrieving data from a vector database that's already been sorted, and you've already basically you've already created the answers. You just need to find the answer. There we go. Thank you for watching. Thumbs up, subscribe. If you like this style of video, let me know. I can do some more. I guess we're all busy experimenting with AI and everything these days. But I thought this was worth sharing. And yeah, take other people's examples and then reformat them. Use AI to help you. Just explore what you can do with stuff. And I think other people's tutorials, if you copy and paste that in, then you run it, see that it works. And once you know that their example works, then you can pick it apart, change bits, and then check it. If it still works or still compiles, then change some more, and eventually you end up with your own version, and you've learned something. So what you don't want to do is just copy someone else's code, spend hours reformatting it, and then find out that their code didn't actually work in the first place because something's been deprecated or something's changed. So there we go. Thank you for watching. Thumbs up, like, subscribe. I'll be back soon.